Oh, there we go. Let's go live and read a John script. Preston is probably giving an exciting introduction to the stream right now, but he forgot that he muted his microphone.
I don't even know how that happened. I guess the button got clicked.
Were you really?
Yeah, that was
Called it.
But thanks for pointing that out.
We are professionals here, people.
Yeah, you know, I was going to. I'm thinking of recording a intro to this, and I'm gonna get people ready for the harsh criticism. At least, I mean, it's not like harsh, but I think a lot of writers, you know, are used to. I don't know.
No, we're totally not a tear it down stream.
Yeah.
Like,
no, especially not you, Danny. You're like the, you know.
I feel like some people would say we're the hardest. Like, you know, you remember, yeah, a couple of people. I'm not gonna name their name. A couple of people have said, you know, like other people on other sites have looked at the script and said, "Hooray!" And all I have to say to that is, that's awesome. I mean, that's great. Nothing we say here should ever take away from somebody else saying, "I love this. It's great. Can't wait." You know.
I mean, hey, if they love your script and they're willing to throw money at it to make it into a movie,
well, all right, look,
I
now
say all power to you.
Like
take their money, yeah.
Like how many scripts? Diane, don't die, please. How many scripts?
Oh, that's Diane's sound. That is.
That's Diane, right?
Hi,
there.
Diane.
This is how we spent much of the movie shoot.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right. Well,
well,
you're not going to narrate.
Again, it's like the comment that I was trying to imply with the one guy in the Discord. I was like, you're getting criticism from a guy who is actively searching for screenplays to option to produce into a film, and you don't want to take his advice. I'm like, that just doesn't sound like a smart business decision to me.
I mean, I'm sure there's lots of people who will just say I liked it and get on with it. I mean, you know,
true.
We're all working writers.
Yes.
Preston has made some movies. I've made some movies. You've made some movies. I have a PhD in literature. Like, we're not nobodies here. I think we've all, Preston and I have both worked with publishing other people.
Yeah.
So, you know, take what you will. I'm certainly not the guy who's going to say like, "Oh, you suck," you know, don't quit your day job. I'm just like, hey,
I mean,
this project needs
I
some
feel
work.
like sometimes you might be the guy to say that.
I might be that guy, but actually, like, it's always about the project.
Yeah.
Like Molby, for all of the crazy shit he pulled, still gave great ideas, and that was never the problem with any of his work.
Yes.
Right? Like,
because I just.
Oh, he's come up with great ideas. He's just, you know, he hasn't spent the time to learn how to write correctly. And these days he's relying on AI to solve that problem, which may or may not work. I mean, I don't know what the future holds. I mean, AI.
You know what? Eventually AI will be a better writer than him.
Yeah.
And that's a pretty low bar, but certainly it's a bar that AI will surely eventually cross.
Yes.
And then good for him. He's leveraging technology, but he's taking the lazy way out as a creator. And, you know, I don't feel bad for pointing it out because he makes us read all of his stuff.
Exactly. All right. We have Dracosnox here, who has presented a screenplay.
Ooh, is this a new project again?
Yeah, as opposed to a comic book. And
wasn't he always doing screenplays?
No, he did that.
No, he was the novelist.
No, you remember he was the guy that did the alien bugs attacking the solar system.
Right, but what that was originally a novel. He's the novelist that. Okay, that yeah. Okay. Awesome.
Anyway,
awesome screenplay. Let's go for it.
I'm excited to share a new project I've been working on. The script is Biohazard 0 Hour, a story that I'm developing as a book first. Once the book is complete, I'll be adapting a comic series and eventually a full-length movie script. Below, you'll find the first 10 pages of the movie script. The story follows John Shepard, a retired Marine.
Don't tell us the story in advance. Let us read it.
Okay, then let's read it. All right, go ahead.
All right, fade in. Exterior, deserted city. Day. The wind howls through the shattered remains of a once bustling metropolis. Skyscrapers, now skeletal and leaning, cast jagged shadows over debris-strewn streets. Weeds poke through cracks in the asphalt. The faint sound of distant guttural moans echoes through the ruins. Oh, this is a John Lamont story. Let's go.
There we go. By the way, just a quick technical note. By convention, the first opening fade in is on the left.
There we go.
I didn't make the rules.
Well, speaking of conventions, we're about to break another one.
There you go.
Close up on John Shepard's face. The convention, of course, being don't direct your film in your screenplay. Rugged, dirt smeared, eyes scanning the corner of a crumbling building. His heavy breathing mingles with the clinking of metal as he adjusts the strap on his rifle.
All right, John.
John, play John.
Every step feels like a gamble, a roll of the dice in a game I never asked to play. But the stakes, they're everything.
John edges around the corner, moving low and quiet. His boots crunch softly on broken glass. He freezes, hearing a creak from above, a rusted sign swinging precariously in the wind. Wider shot reveals the street ahead. Again, directing, please don't. A graveyard of abandoned vehicles, their windows shattered, and door frames hanging open. Shadows loom in the dark alleyways. Isn't it daytime?
I mean, you can still have dark alleyways.
That's true. John moves cautiously, his rifle at the ready. The faint sound of a zombie growl drifts from somewhere unseen.
And, if civilization has fallen into dust, then you're definitely going to have some dark alleyways.
There's nothing left of this place, just ghosts and echoes. But somewhere out there, they're waiting for me. Sarah, Emily, I just have to keep moving.
Suddenly, a metallic clang.
Time.
We can visualize it anyways. We're adults. Suddenly, a metallic clang rings out from the alley to his left. John swivels, aiming his rifle.
Not today.
He steps closer, heart pounding. A figure darts out of the shadows. A young woman, scrappy, armed with a crowbar. She freezes when she sees John, eyes wide with fear.
I'm not here to hurt you.
Yay, dialogue. A whistle cuts through the air. Two more figures appear behind the woman, weapons raised. An older man with a shotgun and a wiry teenager with a makeshift spear.
Drop it now.
John hesitates, eyeing their battered weapons and ragged clothing. Suddenly, he lowers his rifle, but doesn't let go.
Easy. I'm just passing through.
You're too close. This is our street.
Your street. Looks like it belongs to the dead.
The teenager shifts nervously, glancing at the surrounding buildings. Distant zombie moans grow louder. It's a zombie orgy, John. Are you happy?
We don't have time for this. What do you want?
Just trying to survive. Same as you.
The tension thickens. John's fingers twitch near his rifle strap. The group exchanges wary glances. A louder growl interrupts. Closer now.
Do you want to keep arguing? Or do you want to live?
The older man looks towards the sound, his face tightening. He gestures for the others to back up.
Fine, but don't try anything.
They step aside, watching John warily as he passes. He keeps his rifle in hand, his gaze darting between them and the shadows ahead. Behind him, the young woman mutters.
You should have just shot him.
John stops, glancing back over his shoulder.
Next time, make sure you're faster than the dead.
He moves on, disappearing into shadows as the group watches in silence. The sound of the wind and the undead fill the void. Fade out.
This should just be fade 2. But yeah.
It should be fade 2. So I guess we're done now.
Exactly. I mean, do you even need a fade 2?
I
feel like Dracus needs a fade 2.
If he needs it, let him have it.
Exactly.
It should still be fade 2 though, because now you have a needless fade in.
Yeah.
Exterior deserted city, underground parking garage, late afternoon. The faint orange glow of the setting sun filters through broken vents. See, you don't have to tell us what kind of shot it is. We know it's a wide shot. We know exactly what's happening here. We know what it looks like. Casting long shadows across the concrete floor, John Shepard steps cautiously into the dim, cavernous space. His flashlight beam cuts through the darkness, illuminating overturned cars and scattered debris. The air is heavy with mildew and decay. The sound of dripping water echoes eerily.
These streets are a death trap, too exposed. But down here is where the nightmares hide.
As John moves deeper, the distant sound of zombie moans grows fainter. The silence is almost worse. Crunch. John freezes. His flashlight swings to the source of the noise, shards of glass beneath his boot. He exhales slowly. Crouching behind an overturned sedan, his grip tightens on his rifle. Suddenly, faint whispers drift from deeper in the garage. John's flashlight flickers as he scans the shadows. The whispers stop.
Could be survivors. Could be worse.
John steps carefully, his flashlight off now. The darkness feels alive, pressing against him. A faint clink of metal breaks the silence again. He turns sharply, rifle raised.
Who's there?
No response. A faint scuffing sound echoes from behind him. He spins. Nothing. The tension mounts as he edges towards the stairwell at the far side of the garage. A sudden roar pierces the silence, followed by the unmistakable sound of rapid footsteps. A figure bursts from the shadows, a zombie, emaciated but fast, its eyes glowing faintly in the dark. John fires a single shot. The crack of the gun echoes deafeningly. The zombie drops, its body twitching. The echoes fade. Then...
Nice shot, but you just rang the dinner bell.
John whirls, aiming his rifle. A woman steps into the faint light, holding a bow with an arrow notched. She's lean, with sharp features and a no-nonsense expression. Two other survivors emerge behind her, both armed, one with a machete, the other with a crowbar.
Didn't mean to intrude.
Was that me now?
Yeah, you were the woman. Yeah.
You didn't, but you're part of the problem. Now you're part of the problem.
The sound of shuffling feet grows louder from the far end of the garage. More zombies are coming, their silhouettes visible in the faint light.
You want to point that somewhere else, or do we handle this together?
Fine, but you lead. If you screw up, it's your head they'll eat first.
John smirks grimly, stepping ahead. The group falls in behind him as the zombies close in. The first wave of undead emerges, snarling and relentless. John fires controlled shots, taking down one after another. The woman fires arrows with precision, while the others engage the zombies up close. It is chaos. The clash of steel, the thwack of arrows, and the guttural roars of the undead fill the air. One zombie lunges.
I wonder where he lunges to.
So do I. At John.
Oh, no!
Who slams it against a car hood and finishes it with his combat knife.
Every fight's a reminder. You don't have to be the fastest or the strongest, just the one who doesn't quit.
As the last zombie falls, the group catches their breath. Blood and gore smear the floor. The woman lowers her bow, eyeing John carefully.
Yeah.
You're not bad for a loner.
You're not bad for a woman. I mean, and you're not half bad at taking orders.
No, her mother named her woman. That's actually her given name.
Yeah.
Apparently.
She narrows her eyes, unimpressed. The younger man with the crowbar chuckles nervously, but the machete-wielding survivor cuts him a glare.
Oh, yeah.
The name's Erica. Don't make me regret this, soldier boy.
And why wasn't she named Erica all along?
That's I would have done that, but
I would have done that too. Because
I just want to say this is a convention that some people observe. If they haven't named them, then they're that. But now that he's named them, she's Erica down.
I know, but now someone needs to go when you go into production, edit the whole screenplay.
Yeah.
Or else you end up not knowing exactly who's who and how many people to hire, and just don't.
Yeah.
You can maybe do it on the same page, but this one lasted a while. Anyways, John has a line.
John, yeah.
John Shepard, let's hope neither of us regrets anything.
The sound of distant moans reminds them the fight isn't over. Erica gestures towards the stairwell.
Up there. Safe enough for now.
The group moves towards the stairs, stepping over the remains of the undead. John takes one last look at the carnage behind them before following. Fade out. The end.
Sure.
Oh no, fade in. Our editor is an asshole today.
Yeah.
Interior, abandoned apartment
Today?
building. Right. Well, just today.
Yeah.
The stairwell creaks as the group ascends, their footsteps muffled but deliberate. Moonlight streams through shattered windows, casting jagged patterns on the walls. The faint, ever-present sound of moans echoes outside the building. Is the entire rest of the city a zombie orgy? What's all the moaning about?
This is zombie shit.
Whatever.
Zombie
One shepherd takes point, his rifle. He was behind them.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever. Erica is close behind, her bow at the ready, followed by the younger man, Jason, the older man, Martin. So why weren't they named that in the first place? They reach the top floor and push open a door leading into a dilemma.
So which one's the crowbar one and which one's the machete one?
It is unclear. Sorry, yes. The answer is yes.
Right. Thank you.
Yeah. The apartment is small, cluttered with abandoned belongings. A faded family photo sits on a dusty table. The room is lit only by the moon and the glow of a distant fire outside the window. Who set the fire, huh? Zombies? Huh?
Yeah.
Anyways.
Maybe it's a magic fire that just doesn't go out, so when they leave, it
D&D
just burns
style.
forever.
Oh, so it's like a war monument, eternal flame. I'm cool. Okay, let's do it. I'm here for that.
It's an apartment, though.
You also
Oh
have-
yeah. Oops.
Oh, they'll do it. They'll do it.
This
Will do for the night. Excuse me.
Martin secures the door with a broken chair, wedging it under the handle. Jason collapses onto an old couch, his crowbar resting across his lap. Asked and answered, John.
There you go.
All right.
So Martin is the fucking not crowbar guy.
Yeah.
What is he? I don't even remember what his weapon is.
We keep running like this, and the dead won't have to catch us. We'll keel over on our own.
Better tired than torn apart. John stands by the window, scanning the streets below, his shoulders tense as he listens to their banter. The faint crackle of distant gunfire catches his ear.
Someone else is out there.
It's you.
There's always someone else out there. Question is, are they worth the risk?
John turns, his face grim. Does his face have another shape?
We were all strangers once.
Erica doesn't reply, but the tension in her jaw suggests she disagrees. Jason shifts uncomfortably, breaking the silence.
So, soldier boy, what's your story? Why are you out here alone?
John hesitates, his gaze drifting back to the window. He exhales slowly, his voice low.
Looking for my family, wife and daughter. Last I heard, they were in Denver.
The room falls silent. Even Jason looks solemn.
Denver? That's suicide.
Maybe, but they're all I've got left.
Martin leans against the wall, his shotgun resting across his knees.
You sure they're even still alive?
I don't know, but I have to try.
Wait, did Martin always have I thought he had a melee weapon.
He did. One was a crowbar, and the other one was a machete.
Right. So where'd the shotgun come from?
I guess it was
shot-
in the apartment.
The shotgun was the old man from the first alley that popped out.
Yeah, I know. So where did this shotgun come from?
I don't remember, but it was specific when they were in the parking garage fighting the zombies. He specifically said that the two guys were fighting with melee weapons.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm pointing out the incongruity. You sure they're even still alive? Martin says.
I don't know, but I have to try.
Erica exchanges a glance with Martin, her expression softening slightly. Jason fidgets with his crowbar, breaking the silence again.
Guess we've all lost someone, or everyone.
The faint sound of shuffling outside the door snaps them to attention. Erica raises her bow. Martin grips his shotgun, and Jason jumps to his feet.
Sounds like more company.
John signals for silence. John says something.
Yeah.
Oh, they're not shamblers.
Oh, yes. Sorry. Yes, you're about to say that, but I've got to read this other line first. John signals for silence, pressing his ear to the door. The sound grows louder, multiple footsteps, slow, deliberate. John?
They're not shamblers.
Then they're worse. The door handle jiggles. The group tenses. A voice from the other side breaks the tension.
We know you're in there. Open up.
No chance.
We're not infected. We just want to talk.
John's eyes narrow. He gestures for Erica to cover him as he steps closer to the door.
Funny way of saying hello.
I mean, all they did was walk up the door and talk, but all right. Times are tough. You can't blame us for being careful.
The voice is calm, but there's an edge of menace beneath it. Erica looks to John, mouthing a single word. Trap.
We've got plenty of firepower in here. Try anything and you'll find out the hard way.
Pause. The voice outside laughs softly.
Fair enough, but the dead are coming this way. You're going to want to leave before they get here.
The sound of distant moans grows louder. John exchanges a glance with Erica. Martin tightens his grip on his shotgun. Could be lying. Could be baiting us out.
How many do you think?
Couldn't tell, but we won't last long if they're right.
John exhales, his mind racing. He steps back from the door, his voice firm.
We'll take our chances here.
The footsteps retreat, fading into silence. The tension in the room lingers as the group listens. Then a low, rumbling groan echoes from below, followed by the sound of multiple footsteps.
We've got incoming.
The group springs into action, gathering their gear. Jason looks panicked, his voice cracking.
What if they're right? What if we can't hold them off? Well, then you die, dude. What kind of dumb question is that? All right.
Then we move, but not until we know for sure.
The groans grow louder, joined by the scraping of nails against concrete. Shadows shift under the door as the undead approach. Cut to exterior apartment building night. From the street below, dozens of zombies shuffle towards the building, their grotesque forms silhouetted by the moonlight. Their guttural moans fill the night air, drowning out the faint sounds of distant gunfire. Back to interior abandoned apartment building night. John readies his rifle, his face steeled with determination.
One step at a time. That's how you survive. One step at a time.
The sound of a window shattering upstairs breaks the silence. The group looks up, their faces etched with alarm.
Looks like they found another way in. Like
Then we make sure they don't get out.
He moves towards the stairwell, Erica close behind, as the sounds of the undead closing in grow deafening.
Fade out. We're done. There you
Yay!
Go. Oh, wait.
No, we're still done.
Oh, yeah, you're right. Yeah, 10 pages. Okay. Well, we had zombies, and zombies means money. Just ask John. All right.
I don't know. I don't know. Sexy teachers did better than zombies, but.
Well, okay. That's still.
But yeah, I mean, they do well. Like zombies, they have their fans, and yeah, I mean, I sold many copies of Angel of Darkness on the concept of zombies alone.
Yeah. There you go.
Zombies in what?
Zombies alone.
Oh, zombies alone. Oh.
Yeah.
So zombies plus titties are also helpful, but not zombie titties. Nobody wants to see that.
No, exactly.
Actually, they were pretty cool in the comic book Dead World, the one that started it all.
A lot of fans.
Yeah.
And that one has zombie titties.
It does have zombie titties. Yeah, you're right.
And it's very infamous, actually.
Yeah.
Very infamous, very famous.
There you go. So yeah, there's no wrong place for boobs. So zombies and boobs, awesome. And I guess when we get to constructives, I'll go ahead and say there aren't enough boobs in the script on that basis. But we had it's the zombie genre, and this feels like, I felt some Walking Dead. I certainly felt some I Am Legend, walking around there in a city with the dark corners, and kind of foraging, and and it was a moment that I I certainly watched some Walking Dead. In fact, I've watched probably a few seasons of it at this point, but I never really felt like the same trepidation as in like I Am Legend, where you're there and there's like a dark place that you could walk into and get stuff, but there might be bad things in there. But in part, that's because I Am Legend, those zombies can only exist in the dark, and it's only when the sun goes down that out they come. But yeah, this script kind of captured some of those
You didn't get that from
times.
Walking Dead? Like them going into foraging and they could be run into
I think
not only humans but also zombies, walkers.
Not with the same amount of tension now.
I think that the main difference is when you're talking about a TV show and there's going to be 22 to 24 hours per season to fill, that the main characters are going to have a higher chance of survival for the majority of the project. So
here we go.
I think that also adds to it, whereas in I Am Legend, you really had no clue what the hell was going on half the time.
I mean, that's really funny because I mostly got Zombieland vibes.
I did get Zombieland vibes from this. I'm just
which is the thing I'm going to mention in my constructive. It's the thing Draco keeps fucking doing.
I was just commenting on why I think a TV show about zombies doesn't give you the same fear and interpretation from zombies, is because there's so much time you have to fill that chances of somebody important getting offed is very slim to none.
Very slim.
Well, Walking Dead, that was kind of the thing, is that anybody could die. Well, supposedly anyone can die except Carl, and they killed him eventually.
Yeah.
They killed him eventually.
Dan, what'd you like?
Like there's some scavenging.
Yeah.
I disagree about the tits. You've got like the teenage girl at the beginning, and then like the love interest in the middle. That's plenty of tits. It's successfully doing a zombie thing. It's got some, Zombieland kind of vibes to it, to a degree. And,
very Zombieland.
The zombies are questionably aware of the protagonist at all times, which is totally the zombie trope I disagree with. But, it's there doing the thing. They're always threatening, so they're successfully a threat.
I was wondering, the zombies are, you definitely have them approaching, so the sounds get louder as they come in.
Yeah,
that brings out tension. I do kind of wonder, like, how do they know? Do they hear their voices?
We're not doing constructives yet, Diane.
Yeah. That's
a really good question.
But that was a question I had. So just to add on to that, thank you.
Yeah. And John, have you gone?
So I thought you definitely have a good flair for visual storytelling. When you actually get out of your own way and stop directing, you do a really, really good job of describing the world. And to Danny's point, you don't need the camera direction. You really don't. You do a very good job of you can direct visually without pointing the camera at places. Just use the narrative to direct the reader's imagination and their mind's eye to what you want them to see. And I think you'll get a better chance of actually being translated through to the end. Whereas I think if you're, I know it's kind of both. I know this is partially constructive, but where I think if you direct too much, your director may end up being like, no, this is my movie. I'm going to do what I want. And then I think you might end up losing some of that. But I think lean into your strength, which is your visual storytelling. And I think you'll go a lot farther.
All right. Constructives. I felt kind of like last time when I was talking about you resorting to captions to kind of act as a crutch to basically say, hey, this moment is really tense, stuff's on the line. I feel like you kind of resort to that in this script a bit with the dialogue and stuff and the
voiceover.
and John,
you're just saying that because he said tension fills the room like 7 times.
Well, also like the before John runs into other people, he's kind of talking to himself and he's giving this voiceover. And all right. So the first question I got to ask is John going to be our voiceover narrator like the whole time? Because like, what perspective is he narrating from? Is this a flashback that he's talking to, or are these just his thoughts that we get? They're like comic thought bubbles, like he's just kind of narrating as he's out walking about the town, or if he's like talking to a woman, do we secretly hear his voiceover going, this girl's a bitch? Like, I don't know. I don't think we need John's voiceover narration. And I feel like, to me, this is a tough genre. I've never done a zombie thing. And I feel it's very forgiving because there are so many people out there who are just like zombies, they'll buy it. But like it's been played quite a bit. Like how many damn, Walking Dead are there?
3.
Yeah, not to mention it's another thing like sci-fi, which we saw from you last week, which this is a well that's been gone to a bunch. And then you have to start asking what twist am I really adding here? And so far, I feel like this is not anything I haven't already seen.
All right, I'm going to do my constructives next because I'm sort of jumping off of Preston's point. Yeah, the thing I disliked most about this was the unnecessary voiceover, especially because the voiceover isn't about what the character wants. It's just them describing the scene in front of us. This works very well in a novel. This is tedious in a film. So I dare you to submit your next script with no voiceovers whatsoever. Because this is like 3 or 4 projects in a row now where that's like your primary method to attempt characterization of your protagonist. And I think it's an unnecessary crutch for you at this point. Because as John was saying, and I agree, like you've got a good flair for visual storytelling and a pretty good way of putting stories together in general. So why do you have to do this? Like, there are better ways to create a character and to have them characterize themselves. For example, you could have him looking at a picture of his missing wife and kid, maybe reading the last letter they sent him before the zombie apocalypse happened. Damn, you've established it without actually requiring a voiceover. That kind of thing. So there are better options that actually do more to advance your characters. I also agree with Preston that, like, I don't, like, what's the point of this? Like, there's just a guy, like, doing some stuff in a place, but he's not actually in Denver or necessarily going to Denver. He's just like, oh yeah, they're in Denver. We don't know where they are. So, like, is Denver really far? Is it the next mountain over? Like, what's going on? Although there is a threat and it's sort of a man versus nature type threat, you haven't given me a lot to be like, oh, I really care what happens to these people. So that's what I like to see out of this story so far. John?
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna bridge off of also what Preston said. Like, you got to do something. Zombie films, especially, they're a dime a dozen now. And yeah, you got to do something to make yours stand out. It did have and you got to make your characters. It's very generic. It's a zombie film that we've all seen 100 times before. So yeah, I'd be concerned with it being very forgettable. But other than that, as I said, I think you're directing too much, which I kind of touched on a bit already. So I'm not going to go into that again. But yeah, I guess I don't really have anything to add.
All right. Everyone, I know you typed a couple of questions there in the private chat. I mean, go ahead and voice them. Podium's yours.
Well, I only caught the last bit of it.
I know, but you're asking questions. I mean, go ahead.
Yeah. Zombie. I never really got into the zombie thing. Although I did like some zombie works. When I was a kid, when I first watched the what is it called? Return of the Dead or Night of the Living Dead or something like that. Yeah, that was interesting. It was interesting, and at the same time, after watching it, you kind of get it. And so the next several zombie films have to have something, a little bit different than Night of the Living Dead. So perhaps my favorite zombie work is not really a work of zombies, but the Public Enemy song, Night of the Living Bassheads, where they got actual bassheads, freebasing heroin addicts to star in the video, and they were completely out of it. So I guess I guess I'm tripling down on like the idea, like I want to see something different in my zombies. Yeah. And voiceover, I think you can work in different capacities. I didn't see the parts of the voiceovers here, but I think it's also good to study the voiceover movies, like movies that really utilize a lot of voiceover, and see why it works for them. So that was just the gist of my second comment.
Dan, do you have anything to say?
Basically, just to go off on the same point, like voiceover, take it away, allow your actors to act, and basically kind of tell the story for you. Give them something, props, like the picture, as you said, of the family. I'd like to know why they said that they're in Denver.
Right.
Please tell me if they're going to Denver. And also, again, this also goes back to, I'm going to give an example of something new that was brought into zombie movies, and it was actually The Walking Dead that did it. And it's first episode, I believe. It was the character, the black character that was played by, oh crap, I forgot his name. But he's actually a British actor who played someone from
Idris Elba.
When you go black and British, that's the go-to guy.
Well, wasn't he in a couple seasons of Walking Dead?
No.
Oh, okay.
He was actually in a Human Target at one point, but he actually played the setup of it was him and his son, and they were what's left, and that's who Rick finds.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a scene where he tries to explain like what happened as he was unconscious. Well, the world just went to shit. And then there's a scene where the son sees someone out the door and says like, she's here. And then says, go to the corner, put your headphones on. And then like he goes there and just cries. And he holds him. He goes, what's wrong? He goes, my wife.
Yeah.
And he talks about like, I'm over here trying to get supplies and she's getting photo albums. That's her priority. And now I don't have anything, not even a photo.
Yeah.
Like, and actually he has one photo. He actually later on, when he gets a gun, the photo albums come out.
Mm-hmm.
And he looks at all the photos of him and his wife.
Right.
And then takes the gun and then aims at the zombies, practicing his aim, and then aims at now his zombie wife, his walker wife.
Yeah.
And he couldn't pull the trigger.
Yeah.
And that was actually completely done in silence.
Yeah.
It was beautiful music by Bear McCreary.
Mm-hmm.
And then a couple episodes later, he comes back. All he does is narrate the story of how his son dies. And it was because he didn't take the shot of his wife.
Yeah.
And you just break down. And that's all done by character acting and no voiceover. You didn't have to see it happen. You could just feel that emotion coming out of his monologue. And that was something different. But, if you want to, you can go through the gambit of all the zombie films and all that and find out what hasn't been done or what hasn't been done well. So get out some of the more unique aspects. The one that made Walking Dead so popular is really because the monsters aren't the walkers, they're the people. And yeah, you could say like, oh, other zombie films have done that. True, but the thing is that they have not done it as well as they did. So, and it consistently. And then, of course, they fell off the horse. It is now gone. But now they have all their spin-offs, so whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my comment.
All right, John. We have a photography store. You want to tell us anything before we start reading this story? I guess not. All right, interior photography store day, a small, quaint mall photography shop, walls decorated with large poster-sized photographs taken by an artist with a knack for framing and lighting, a country church in a grassy meadow, a lunar New Year's festival full of bright colors, a stunning contemplative young Vietnamese woman looking out a window at sunlight through blinds creates contrasting bars across her skin. The main display case features several digital cameras from the basic full auto models up to several thousand mirrorless models. As the door opens, a bell rings.
I'll be right up.
Two young college-age women, Luna and Azalea, enter.
Would you look at this place? Isn't it everything I said?
Luna rolls her eyes impressed. Erwin, why don't you be Luna for us?
Is this a camera shop or an art museum?
I know, right?
Jacob McLean, mid-40s, emerges from the back room.
Good afternoon. What can I do for you, ladies?
I want to buy a camera.
Well, I can certainly help with that. What are you looking to shoot?
Poachers.
Poachers.
That was a good line.
Nature stuff. Whales. I really want to take some photos of whales at sea, before they're all gone.
There's a homonym there.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So you'll want something with a good lens, get up close to them without them knowing you're there. And your budget?
Luna eyes the cameras in the display case.
These cost more than my phone.
Don't be a sorry sport, Luna. You can't shoot a documentary on an iPhone. If it doesn't look gorgeous, people won't get the message.
That's right. Luna rolls her eyes at Azalea.
Trust me, people will get the message by the time we're done.
Azalea turns back to Jacob, all smiles.
Just ignore her. I always do.
Budget does make a difference in what you want to do. I don't sell $100 Walmart cameras. I sell cameras for people who want to make a statement.
I'm definitely all about the statement.
Stepping back from the counter, Azalea eyes the massive prints on the wall. She turns to the woman print, the model's gaze fixed outward.
Like her, looking out into the world, wondering what the future holds. What thoughts are you going through her mind?
Oh my God, I look so fat today. I should have asked him to postpone this.
Azalea looks at Jacob quizzically.
That's my wife, still a girlfriend at the time. After we were done, she said she was feeling bloated because of last night's dinner.
Oh, what was last night's dinner?
I don't remember.
Azalea chuckles.
And does she know you tell this story?
I've never really had anyone ask before.
Luna's cell phone rings. She answers, walking to back of the store.
So you're married a model, huh?
Oh no, she's an pediatric oncologist. That was her birthday gift to me.
Azalea laughs.
Wow, I don't even know what that means.
Well, birthday is the anniversary of one's birth.
No, the other thing.
Pediatric oncologist? It means she studies and fights child cancer.
Badass.
Azel, we need to go.
Oh, sorry, we'll come back tomorrow.
We're closed tomorrow for Thanksgiving. If you come back on Friday, I'll make it worth your while.
All right, I'll see you then.
The two exit the store.
They won't be back.
Oh,
Sigh.
Sad
day.
panda.
Interior McLean residence living room day. A nice 2-bedroom condominium, neat and clean, decorated with nice modern features. Jacob sits on the couch, game controller in hand, engrossed in beating the next level when a cell phone beside him buzzes. A quick pause on the game controller. Jacob grabs his phone.
Hey, Mom. Haven't let yet. Waiting for Ashley to get home from work.
Haven't lit yet?
Left, but
left.
Jacob's mother. Go ahead.
Oh, is that what he meant?
Yeah.
When she's expected home.
Jacob tosses the controller to the side, stands, and paces.
6 hours ago?
Is that unusual?
Cancer
doesn't wait around until it's convenient.
Just then, the door opens, and Ashley, the one young and vibrant woman in Jacob's photo, enters wearing sweat-stained scrubs, looking exhausted.
Ash is home. I'll call you when we hit the road.
Ashley drops onto the couch, letting her bag fall to the floor.
Sounds good, sweetie. See you soon.
Jacob hangs up, sits down beside her.
How was work?
All right, Dan.
I didn't think the day would ever end.
You're still up for Thanksgiving dinner?
Oi, it's my line.
Oh, okay. Sorry, you're right. Yeah.
You still up for Thanksgiving dinner? You're the narrator, Preston.
Ashley forces a smile to hide the fact she really just wants to go to sleep.
Of course, babe. Let me go take a shower.
Take your time.
Jacob leans in, giving her a kiss. Ashley gets up, heading for the master bedroom. Here,
sorry, keep going.
And here, Jacob's car, parking garage. Jacob and Ashley enter the car, both dressed in casual but nice clothes. Jacob starts up the car, pulling out of the parking garage. Jacob's car, highway night, thick, dark trees line both sides of the 4-lane highway. Minimal street lights leave Jacob's high beams to provide most of the light. Quiet music plays on the radio. Ashley sleeps in the reclining passenger seat.
I feel like they keep ending daylight savings earlier and earlier each year, just to spite us.
What was that?
Jacob glances over.
Nothing, baby. Just rest. We'll be there in about 20.
Suddenly, the inside of the car lights up as if daytime. A loud blaring air horn shatters the quiet evening seconds before. Cut to black. Crash. The deafening collision slowly subsides as soft light appears before fading back to black. Soft light appears again, slowly coming into focus. Interior hospital room day, Jacob's POV. The soft light gives way to a rainbow of colors, which slowly comes into focus of the multicolored scrubs off the attending nurse.
Good morning, McLean. How are we feeling this morning?
Jacob lays on the hospital bed, a nasal cannula on his face, his right arm and leg in casts.
My side hurt. Where is Dr. McLean?
Dr. Patel is your attending doctor.
No, my wife, Dr. Ashley McLean. I want to see her.
The nurse hesitates a moment.
She's fine. You'll be able to see her soon.
The nurse adjusts Jacob's IV drip, causing Jacob to grow tired.
The doctor will be in just a moment to check on you. Rest now.
Jacob falls asleep. Interior hospital room. 48 hours later, Jacob wakes up finding the nasal cannula removed. Only the TV remains beside him as he tries to sit up. Pain races through his chest and back, causing him to cry out. He grabs the remote, pressing the nurse call button. Jacob fights the pain, attempting to sit up as the nurse enters.
Good morning. Let me help you with that.
I have to pee.
A few minutes later, a toilet flushes. A moment before, a male orderly rolls Jacob out of the bathroom in a wheelchair.
Who wants to be the orderly?
Erwin.
All right. I'll call the nurse to help you back in the bed.
I forgot I had my mute on.
Would you take me to my wife's room? I don't know why they wouldn't put us together. Or are all hospital really like the TV shows?
You think it wouldn't be with all the sensitivity training they make us go through? Let me see if I can find her room number. I'll be right back.
Thanks.
As the orderly exits, Jacob takes a deep breath. Jacob rubs his sore right shoulder. Looking down, it occurs to him the worst of his injuries are on his right side. Dr. Patel enters the room, closing the door.
Who's got to be the
Dr. McLean, I'm glad to see you're feeling better.
What's my wife's room number?
I'm sorry to tell you this.
Cut 2. There's our room.
Right.
Exterior cemetery dusk. Cold rain. People dressed in dark clothes stand over an open grave. Sorry, Dan. The Vietnamese woman is dead.
Yeah. It's just like us.
A priest eulogy, nothing more than a zombie. than a mumble. Not a zombie.
Yeah.
The zombie was last script. Leaning onto a cane, Jacob stands stoically, staring down at the ground, lost in his own thoughts. The priest closes his Bible, places a reassuring hand on Jacob's shoulder, but Jacob remains lost in his thoughts. As the priest steps away, the other attendees take that as their cue and follow suit. And she was a doctor.
I know.
That's like the pinnacle of Vietnamese society.
That's not how you spell Q.
Yeah. Man.
It's the money and the prestige.
It's a heavy day.
Yeah. I got fridged.
Photography store day. Jacob slides the metal gate to the side, unlocking the front door. Opening the door sends letters sliding across the floor. Jacob picks them up, entering the store. They are all from Serenity Valley Mall, addressed to him. The new one's red stamped final notice. The door opens. A bell rings.
We are closed.
An older man in a polo and slacks enters. It's the manager.
Jacob?
Jacob turns, seeing him.
Oh, hi. Yeah, I know I'm behind. I didn't make as much on Black Friday this year as I anticipated.
I'm sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
I'm just happy you're here to reopen.
And pay the rent? That's what you came for, right?
I have a boss, and you've not been answering your phone or texts.
Jacob looks up the photo of Ashley on the wall.
I explained to them what happened, and that worked for a while, but it's been 2 months, and they're going to want some kind of payment plan.
The manager's voice drowns out as Jacob gets lost in his own thoughts. Interior photography studio. 10 years ago day. Ashley sits on... You're alive again.
I'm alive again in flashback. In a flashback.
Sits on the cube. A white shirt delicately draped over her naked body. All right. She's naked beneath her white shirt.
Oh, nice.
Jacob adjusts the light control blades. He turns smiling as she looks up at him in youthful innocence.
Do I look okay?
You look amazing. Are you sure you want to do this?
As long as you keep to your end of the bargain.
Jacob kneels down, lining up the shot through his camera's viewfinder.
After today, you'll be the only girl in my portfolio.
Jacob snaps the photo, a blinding white flash.
Dead again.
Exterior bridge night. Dead again. Leaning onto his cane, bottle of whiskey in the other hand, Jacob waddles across the bridge, overlooking a cold, raging river. Reaching the top, he leans out, looking down. He takes another swig of whiskey. Interior SUV day, sitting in the passenger seat. Azalea takes a drag off a joint. Glancing at it's a joint. Glancing out, she grabs Jacob. And
all right, that was 10 pages.
10 pages.
It only goes on for like another third of a page. If you
Okay,
guys...
sure.
Holy shit!
They race past Jacob. Azalea's gaze stays on him.
Stop the car!
Interior bridge night. The SUV screeches to a halt before going into reverse, backing up. Unaware, the SUV Jacobs begins to climb up the side of the bridge's railing. The SUV comes to a stop, and the four passengers, Azalea, her boyfriend, Jag, the driver, exit. And there we go.
Wait, what happened at the end there? The Jacob is climbing up the bridge. What?
He's gonna jump off a bridge.
I think he was going to, yes.
Oh, he's going to jump off the bridge. Okay.
Yes, but fortunately, help seems to be on the way in clearly what is a very dark time in his life. Well, John, I'll go. I think this is definitely not something I expected. I haven't seen you tackle a story like this before. Good on you for branching out. I saw neither zombies nor boobs. Well, there was like a hint of boobs.
I mean, there's a naked body.
Okay, all right. There were boobs. So thank you. I know, but we had a very, very touching personal moment. We had the significance of the photo and the memory of Ashley, which haunts him and motivates him to do bad things in a desperate time. And I think he presented it pretty well. So yeah, congratulations.
Yep, this was a compelling drama. There was obvious drama. It was dramatic. It seems to be escalating, so I'm sure whatever happens next is going to be very exciting.
Was someone going to buy the photograph at the end of the?
Please, no questions until after.
Oh, I was just. It was a line. I was just.
John, she wants to know.
I think so. I think the manager said that someone wanted to purchase it, or was that my imagination?
No, he wants to get paid. He needs the rent.
He needs to pay the rent. Okay.
Yes. Okay. Yes. He's 2 months behind in his rent because he's been in the hospital.
Yeah. Gotcha.
And of course, a mall in 2024, they rely on their Black Friday sale.
Yeah.
In order to make budget. And he was in the hospital from Thanksgiving until New Year's. So he has no Thanksgiving, no Black Friday, no Christmas, no nothing. So
no commission.
Right.
The rent for.
Well, he owns the store. That's. But anyway, I'll let you guys finish.
Yeah.
And then I'll tell you what the log line is after you got. But I want to hear what you guys have to say first.
I like the direction it's taking. I was involved in the story. I was engaged the whole time, and it makes me. I care about this John character. Is it John? No,
mine's Jacob. John was the zombie one.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Jacob. Yeah. No, I care about this Jacob character, and there was a bit of conversation there where Ashley said something like, as long as you hold up your end of the bargain, which I thought was the one place in the first 10 pages or so where there was a little bit of what's this all about, and so I'm guessing when you tell us the log line, there will be more more reason for us to think, oh, there's more going on here than meets the eye. So I'm interested.
Diane, did you have anything you wanted to say?
No, everybody else
All right, constructives. I don't really have much, I don't think.
I'd like it has potential as I've invested. I'd like to know more.
Yeah.
So
I'm sure Danny's got something.
It has tension. I'm invested. I'd like to know more. Because I know you said you were doing something different, but I was still in the back of my head like, oh, this is a Joel the Bug story. So I was waiting for the shoe to drop up until you literally hit the plot with the car. So actually that was fine. It occurs to me that this entire 10 pages is an excellent origin story flashback for some vigilante, which this may well be, since you're hiding the log line from us for some reason. But yeah, so what does Jacob want? Is but the only thing that's really missing here. Like, is he happy with his life?
Clearly not. He's trying to kill himself.
Yeah, he's
Well,
about to
sure, but surely he wants something
He
from
seemed to
his
be
life
like doing
even
fine until his
before-
wife died.
even before the whole thing derails it. Surely he wants something in his life, and so I don't know what that is. So
He wants to
the
make
sense of loss is
Yeah.
for another person who, and that's obviously very compelling. But like, we don't know what the personal stakes are going to be moving forward, and that's what you need to establish in your first 10 pages, right? Is what's the story. So I'm sure you do it on page 12 or on the bottom half of page 11.
It happens closer to page 20. So really, the reason why I didn't want to, I'm not sharing the log line right now, is because I want to see if there's enough interest in these pages that I can get you on board for another 10 minutes. That's why
Okay,
I'm not
well,
sharing the log line.
yeah,
Because otherwise,
I do care what happens to these people, but like, it's starting to fade because I don't know what they want, right? Like, Jacob seemed like, if Jacob had any ambition before all of this, or even if his wife did, and that's something he's going to pick up the torch for, that would really help drive it forward for the next 10 pages before you really get going. But you need something.
okay.
So you've got a huge emotional, a huge turning point that happens on page 11. I was going to say 11 o'clock. Yeah, he's attempting to, or he's interested in killing himself. So that means you've got an opportunity in the lead up to his suicide attempt to tell us more about his story. And I assume that his desire for suicide is and has something to do with a larger story. Like, and so we don't get those aspects. We get that he's sad about his wife dying, but we don't get the extra stuff. We never had a chance to have kids, or I totally failed her because I did this or that, or I want to kill myself because, my life was meaningless before I met her and now it's meaningless again. I don't know what it is, but if you're going to have him attempt suicide on page 11, I think you've got an opportunity to tell a compelling lead up to that will also shine a light on, I think what Danny was trying to look for was a stronger underlying story, internal or relationship story for this character. So I think you have got the room for it, because you waste, I don't want to say you waste, but you spent like a page or two delaying his discovery that his wife is dead. And to me, that didn't really serve me well, because in those 2 pages or so, we don't see him struggling really. He doesn't ask a question that's revealing or something like that of the underlying conflict or story, or whatever it is that might be going on between him and his wife, or him and himself, or whatever. So I think you got the room for it. So anyways, that's it.
I have one comment before you reveal your log line, which is, if this is not some sort of like rip from the headlines, like, oh, I'm suing the hospital type thing, then you should watch Ghost Story, with the one with Casey Affleck in a bedsheet, because that's the version of this story that sort of starts off exactly how you've.
That is actually a great movie.
It's great. Yeah, it's really good.
It's very quiet. It's very slow burn, but it's a good movie.
I really liked it, but that's sort of the version that we come to here, right? Is like, all there is the relationship, and so all that's left is like literally haunting someone.
Yeah.
Which obviously that's not the perspective that we have, but that's the only other story I know of that's any good that like doesn't need to characterize that hard at this stage, because like the death is the point. I don't think that's what you're doing here, but you should watch it anyways, because it might inspire you like one way or the other. Anyways, go ahead and reveal your log line to us for this Punisher clone or whatever.
So first of all, he doesn't have any. It's an everyman story. So he's just a normal guy. He doesn't have like big dreams. He's got his store. He's got his wife. He's happy. But basically, the log line is he gets kidnapped by a bunch of environmental terrorists who want him to film a documentary about their terrorist attack that they're planning.
They're what?
About their attack they're planning.
About their.
We become okay. So like, is this like a Cecil B. Demented situation where he like?
I don't know what that is.
You should watch that too. I'm probably the only person here who like.
You mean John Waters?
Yeah.
Cecil B. Demented?
It's so good though.
It is good. So
either it's a Cecil B. Demented scenario where he like joins the cause, or like what? He's so listless he just does it anyways.
No, that's kind of how I read it when you first introduced it. It doesn't sound like he's just kind of like an average guy, not a lot of ambition. He has like photographs. He's trying to sell stuff, possibly get commission, and then like he said, like, well, they're not coming back. So I mean, like he's content where he is. His wife is the super successful one, possibly the breadwinner.
Yeah,
she died.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah,
she is.
She dies. And it's like, what the hell do I have left? Like, I guess I have my photography, but it's like kind of like he's not. It's kind of shown that he's not really into that. He's just kind of like going through the motions of his life, and so when it comes to a suicide, it's just like, well, that's it. And then you have,
I'm behind this photography and eco-terrorism thing.
I assume that has to do with Luna and Azealia.
Oh yeah, totally.
Yes, absolutely. They are. That's the whole point of the opening scene, is just to kind of sprinkle in a little introduction of the world before the shit hits the fan.
Because they want to make a statement.
Well, you should totally watch Cecil B. Demented because you're writing a version of that.
Yeah.
And it's awesome.
So
also, you'll find it very funny.
I will have to.
Be Demented.
Cecil B. Demented.
Demented. It's by John Waters.
So my one of my inspirations for this was Collateral.
Okay, I can see that.
So it's kind of just normal guy doing his normal job, and then all of a sudden, shit goes wrong, and he gets sucked into it, and basically spends the entire time trying to get out of it. And that's where I'm going. That's where my plan is to go with that. So it's not like he doesn't join the cause. He gets sucked into it and is basically ends up trying to fight for his life to get out of it.
So I feel that if you're going to do that, shouldn't they question his, like, so he does one photograph, but does he, if they're wanting to do a documentary, shouldn't he be doing like more film then?
Yes.
So, like, why would they choose him?
Yeah, it's like video as opposed to still.
He's
right?
going to still.
Yeah.
So why him?
Hello.
All right, fair enough.
Oh, that okay. All right.
Fair enough. All right.
Yeah. I think I would have liked to. I think it would sort of spice it up just a little bit if there was a more interesting hint dropped in that first scene about their view about the environment, because I think
you mean shooting poachers, wanting to film whales before they're gone?
Yeah, I mean, like, it's all there.
That's not strong enough.
That was really obvious.
My argument was,
the poachers.
Why would they pick a photographer over a videographer?
No, that's a good point. I'll have to.
He's going to adjust the profession of it.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, I can. I mean,
let me finish. It's just like that. That's like, I actually think it's fine the way it is, because they say they want to have a statement. They say that they want to shoot poachers.
Right.
I mean, it's all there. It's subtle, but it's not at the same time.
So, that's the idea. That's what I'm going for.
Yeah, the thing is that's fine. I don't think you needed more than that. But my main question is, why would they pick a still photographer over a guy who's a videographer? Now, if he took the hint that, oh yeah, I used to do films too. Oh, what did you do? I did like, street photography or something like that, like urban decay, something like that. Sure. Okay. Then he might like target him. But beyond that, like I need more.
But I mean, who really brings somebody on their terrorist operations just to take a video? I mean, taking a video is so easy these days, you know?
This is why I think Cecil B. Demented is a good reference, because
I will agree to that. Yeah, if you're
because like the person who gets sucked in starts drinking the Kool-Aid is sort of the point of
also
Wait,
watch.
like
hold on. Watch also a French New Wave film called I think it's like Man Eats Dog.
All right.
And
Man Bites Dog.
What?
Man Bites Dog, I think it is.
Man Bites Dog. No, Man Eats Dog.
That's the Vietnamese version.
Shut up.
That's racist.
Don't worry, I slapped him for that. I slapped him twice. So fuck you, man. So no, it's a French avant-garde film, which is really, really difficult to watch. Basically, it is a video documentary crew who follow a serial killer and then gets sucked up into his life and then becomes accomplices to his crimes. And if you can find the uncensored version where he kills the kid, watch that, because it's terrifying. And they took that out in the American version. Watch the unrated version. That's the original French. So, yeah. So, no, there
is Man Bites Dog, 1992.
Is it? Was it?
Yeah, and I think I must have watched the American version because I don't remember it being all that.
No, it's like black and white French. So, I don't know.
Hold on. Now we got to look it up.
Well, I just looked it up. It's
it's Dog 1992 film. What do you want to know?
No, that's not.
I mean, I'm sure we've given John lots to go with here.
Okay.
Oh, it is that.
It is.
Man Bites Dog. Yeah, that is it.
There's a Criterion version of
what happened? It literally means it happened near your home. So it's considered a black comedy. Sure. Whatever. It's a satire, definitely.
Oh, like Happiness?
Huh?
Oh, I just mentioned a film that no one should watch.
Which is what?
Happiness. Don't watch it.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, I've heard that reputation.
It's really good.
It's a great film. Yeah, it's a great film. Yeah.
That was recommended to me as like from one of my friends from high school. It was like, hey Danny, I would never recommend anyone watch this, but you should. And they were right, but also, don't watch it.
Yeah.
I think it's a Neil LaBute film, isn't it?
Okay, so Man Bites Dog is considered what I considered an endurance film. So it's very, very visceral. It's one of those films that you could vomit while watching it, but
Awesome.
enjoy it.
All right, here we go. We got Lords of Iron. Who wants to be narrator?
I'll narrate.
Go
give you a break. Okay. Lords of Iron combined. Page 1.
Closer.
What's that?
No. There you go.
Page 1, panels 1. Panel 1, foreground. A robotaxi sits at a curbside to unload its lone passenger using the rear door away from the opposite side of the viewer. Midground. A mob of protesters holding signs featuring slogans such as "V's go home," "Choose humanity," "Race traitors must die." A pathway leading from the open door divides the crowd into two groups. On the left stand the net dwellers, a group featuring extremely overweight, scrawny, sun-starved individuals with multicolored hair and mostly indeterminate sexual characteristics. They wear tank tops, t-shirts, and baggy pants, mostly in pastel colors. On the right stand the Morlocks, doing the physical labor this society still requires, grants this mostly male crowd strong physiques. Most wear denim overalls or jeans, flannel, and boots. Their clothes from a sea of blue, black, and red, and gray. Form a sea of blue, black, red, and gray. Many wear religious imagery featuring the cruciform crescent featured in issue 1. In the background stands a tall, ornate security gate at the end of the path leading from the car, a thick black organic security wall. Behind the gate, a domed structure reminiscent of the building seen on Venus in issue 1. V technology created all the structures observed. 2 Bioroid knights, see style sheet, keep the crowd from encroaching on the path leading to the complex through sheer intimidation. Lilith, a scrawny female net dweller, issues a live report into a nearby hovering camera drone. Caption, Los Angeles, Earth.
You want to be Lilith?
Sure. That is Rohan Panoply.
Ptolemy.
Ptolemy. Okay.
That's how you spell Ptolemy.
Ptolemy. Excuse me.
Not Panoply.
Rohan. Is that Rohan?
That's Rohan.
Okay, Rohan Panoply.
Ptolemy.
Ptolemy. Anderson now stepping out of the robot taxi. He seems committed to following through on turning his body over to the V's for experimentation.
We got crowd. John, you can be the crowd.
What you're doing is genocide. This is literally racism.
And then we
Kick
got
this bastard's ass. Don't do it.
Page 2, panels 3. Panel 1, Rohan, an overweight net dweller in his early 20s, makes his way from the robotaxi along the path through the crowd as the 2 V shock troopers hold back the crowd. I can't believe... Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I can't believe this is happening. Smear the blob.
This crowd's expressing their solidarity through
condemnation.
Condemnation.
Panel 2. Rohan walks through the open gates into the V complex as rocks thrown by the crowd pelt him. Lilith's focus remains on the camera drone as she reports.
He's indicated a complete willingness to cease being human in the hopes that the V's can mutate him into something better.
Better dead than a V.
Panel 3, a rock strikes Rohan in the back of the head, knocking him from his feet.
Oof.
Take that, traitor.
Page 3, panels 4. Panel 1, the front doors of the complex part and shed. The front doors of the complex part and shed an eerie purple light on the fallen Rohan.
Our first customer. Welcome.
Panel 2. Rohan looks up to find the holographic image of Trinity standing in the doorway, arms open wide in a welcoming gesture.
To the grand opening of our first ever human outreach and heal.
Panel 3. Stones thrown by the crowd fly through Trinity's hologram face and body.
Die, bitch. Go back to Venus.
Ing Center.
Panel 4. Rohan takes a tentative step inside as Trinity stands aside and invites him in.
Or should be N. Should be N. Sorry. N. Please come in.
Page 4. There are 4 panels. Panel 1. Series of panels. The Bioroid knights stand vigil before a closed gate to the complex. No longer divided by the path into distinct groups, the crowd continues to protest. Lilith spreads her arms wide as she gesticulates to the video drone for the benefit of her viewers.
What kind of worthless sack would give up on humanity itself in our darkest hour? This is about the message this sends to the emotionally compromised elements of our population. Yeah. Oh, this is?
Yeah, this is about you. You're right. You're right.
Uh-huh. Death to the V's! Panel 2, series of panels. The Bioroid knights stand vigil before a closed gate to the complex. 8 net dwellers stand before a makeshift shrine erected out of cardboard and wood, featuring a venerated school picture of Rohan in younger days, surrounded by burning outdoor candles. A sign at the base of the shrine reads, "Free Rohan." Lilith stands apart from the scene, narrating into her video drone. 1 week later, captions.
No outward sign of activity since the V's took him. At this point, we have to ask if he's even human enough to save anymore.
Panel 3, series of panels. The Bioroid Knights stand vigil before a closed gate to the complex. A slender net dweller woman in her 20s holds hands with a Morlock male in his 30s as they stand before the gate. Both wear shirts reading, "Free Rohan." Caption reads, 1 month later.
And we need a hood. It wants to be a hood.
Still nothing.
And in panel 4, Admiral Oliver Hood, last seen in issue 1, page 8, 50s males with half his face taken by prosthetic from a war wound, sits in his futuristic office behind his desk. On the wall behind him, a digital display showing a frozen frame from the scene in panel 3. 2 flags, the left bluish and the right reddish, hang limply.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
These 2 flags hang limply from their poles on either side of the display. Space Cavalry, Commander Mars Agrippa, 30s black man, rugged features, stands before the Admiral, ready to receive his orders.
President Gonzalez wants action, and we've seen no response to his demand for the V's to release Rohan, their hostage. We can't be toe overt in our spying given the terms of our ceasefire after our defeat at Ceres. You mean given? Also on the same line?
Sure, I can see that, yeah.
And the material they used to make, also a comma before that.
Where at?
And not a comma before and on line 3.
Okay, so we can't be too overt in our spying.
Comma.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, comma. Given, look at that. There we go. So you want, like, what do you want here? You want a period?
And then no, yeah, there we go. We can't be too overt in our spying, given the terms of our ceasefire after our defeat at Ceres, and the material they used to make that installation absorbs a wide spectrum of radiation, infrared, radar, X-rays, and all frequencies of sound. We now seek to promote a response.
No, it's one word.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, you want, okay, I like that. All right. Who wants to be Agrippa? John, you want to be Agrippa?
Recon, by way of frontal assault, Admiral.
Page 5 has 4 panels. Panel 1, Agrippa continues to confidentially stand in front of the seated Admiral Hood as they discuss plans.
They can't strategically defend that base if we decided to take it. And allowing them unrestricted access to our people will lose us this war eventually.
Yeah. Late, there we go.
Absolutely, Admiral. My squad will make a big show of dispatching those 2 bioroids.
There will be cameras witnessing you make history.
Panel 2, Admiral Hood counsels caution.
There will be cameras witnessing you.
Oh, you're right. Oh, all right. Let's get rid of that line. There we go. There we go. Now
I would be surprised if Trinity didn't have some kind of counter ready. All we're doing here is the obvious. Also, there's the matter of the survivors from Ceres. The V's granted their transport safe passage so far. That would be ellipsis so far.
All right.
Oh, what's wrong with? Okay, whatever.
All right. Yeah.
I personally like commas, but
okay.
Right.
That's not an appropriate use of a comma. An ellipsis is.
All right.
Panel.
I use that for commas.
Okay, well, you're wrong.
All right.
I don't like ellipses because
You're still wrong.
No.
All right. Panel 3.
I like double hashes, but I know that's not always
That's a
correct
different
either.
thing.
No, I prefer commas.
Panel-
I've seen it done with commas.
Panel 3, Agrippa expresses unflinching devotion.
Your action needs to seem warranted and not provocative. Oh, is this a John Lamont story?
There we go.
Admiral,
Are his
we
kids
can't-
coming out?
we can't use human reason with an alien intelligence. Who knows what they'll find provocative?
That should be
What?
probably. Should that be? Is that a question?
It is a question.
Yeah, it's a question. Yeah.
It is a rhetorical question, but that's still a kind of question.
What we can do is negotiate a peace from strength, but first we have to show that.
Panel 4, seated behind his desk, Admiral Hood gives the order to Agrippa, who salutes.
Yeah, it should be seated. Yeah.
You're the right man for the job, Commander Agrippa. On behalf of all humanity, lead your squad to victory! Exclamation point.
Yeah, you're right. And then we got Agrippa.
At once, Admiral.
All right. And then we got
Page 6, panels 2. Panel 1, Commander Agrippa stands wearing his Mark 27 Veritech power armor featuring a jetpack and over-the-shoulder laser-guided rocket launcher. His hands cradle his assault rifle, similar to the M41A pulse rifle from Aliens.
Oh, okay.
Who's Mars?
that's Agrippa. I first name, last name, but all right. Here.
Wow, talk about having not name inconsistency.
Yes.
That was the one that Avery suggested to you, right?
Yeah.
Instead of Marius, you
Yeah,
did Mars.
Mars, yeah.
yeah.
Oh, that's her suggestion.
Gentlemen, today we face the V's. Our forces represent the might of Earth's military. The entire solar system watches what we do here today. Come home with your shield or on it.
There we go.
Exclamation point.
Yeah.
So 300, very 300.
Yeah.
Panel 2, the other 8 members of the squad join in a war cry as they hold up their fists in solidarity.
And
Hoorah!
And then I'm gonna actually give like each of the 8 like names and identifiers eventually.
But will they actually have shields?
I was thinking probably not,
Okay.
but you know,
They probably wouldn't do much good anyways.
yeah. I mean, well, shields are pretty practical.
I mean, you could still do like the entire like laser kind of.
Yeah,
shield,
I mean,
like force field
shields
shield.
I mean, even in the days of bullets, you know,
Yeah.
shields are still practical. But
Yeah. I mean,
Page
are
7.
they lasers or they're bullets?
I mean, there are still going to be things in the material plane that is bullet, shrapnel, whatever, you know,
Okay,
pressure
yeah,
waves
yeah,
that are out to kill
you
you.
probably-
There's that. Also, shields are really good at blocking light,
Yeah.
which means if you're hiding behind it, your enemy doesn't know exactly where you are,
Yes.
Mhm.
which is pretty darn useful.
Page 7 consists of 4 panels. Number 1, an Earth Federation M5 Striker tank, conventional gas-powered armored unit, sits behind Commander Agrippa. Its cannon aimed and ready to fire as he addresses the V complex.
Cannon has 2 ends. In this
in
context.
the middle.
Shoot Shakespeare.
Oh, there we go.
2 ends. Thank you.
Yeah. All right.
Attention V's. We allowed you this outpost here as a good faith effort after you allowed withdrawal from Ceres, but you have taken a citizen hostage. We demand his release.
Panel 2, the 2 Bororoids.
So are bioroids capitalized or not capitalized? Because you seem to do both.
I mean, it doesn't matter. They're foreign robots.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
The 2
You have them
Bororoids.
capitalized in other parts.
I guess they probably should not be capitalized.
Mm,
It's not really proper now. All right. I'll
I mean,
fix
you
that.
could.
No.
The 2
Clearly not
Hemorrhoids
proper
stand
now.
passively
Like horse.
near the gate. The 2 Bororoids stand impassively before the gate, protecting the V complex.
Go, John.
Refusal will leave us no choice but violence.
Panel 3, inset into 2. A projector node on the Bororoid armor activates to shine a blue light. Panel 4, bathed in blue light from his adversary's projection, Commander Mars readies to fire his assault rifle.
Yeah,
we'll go ahead and change that name. Sure. There we go.
What's this?
Page 8, panels 4. Panel 1, the two Bioroid units shine a coordinated projection from shoulder-mounted nodes in their armor to create the hologram of Trinity standing before them.
Your actions have activated this avatar of Trinity, a singular being of 3. We are currently being contacted on our home world, where your words and actions will be evaluated and appropriate response issued.
Panel 2, Agrippa orders his men into action as he maintains his assault rifle sighted on the enemy.
Sorry, you three-faced bitch, but you've got 30 seconds to have your Bioroids stand down, lest I put them down.
Panel 3, the Eric aspect of Trinity stands defiant.
This situation requires Godhead review before a response can be given. We assume no responsibility for acts committed by our forces when your actions place them outside the chain of command.
Panel 4, Agrippa and his squad take aim at the Bioroids.
Capitalized.
Okay.
R.
There we go. His weapons. There you go.
R.
It should be really
The capital R there.
You're right. Roids. Bioroids.
Yeah,
there you go.
Let's see.
Actually, it should be their weapons. There we go.
Panel 4, Agrippa and his squad take aim at the Bioroids with their weapons.
Who's Agrippa?
All right then. Venus currently sits 26 light minutes from Earth. That gives you an hour to officially do the right thing. Otherwise, we escalate this.
Page 9, panels 3. Panel 1, the Guinevere aspect of Trinity seeks mercy from the assembled humans. Caption, 1 hour later.
All right, listen up, y'all. We're here to teach you peace and harmony. Just because you have the power to destroy doesn't mean it's right. Rohan came to live here and try a different way of life. We'll certainly make him available to give y'all a statement. But you kind of caught us in the middle of something right now. You're just going to have to come back in a week or so. We'll present Rohan then.
Panel 2, Agrippa fires a shoulder-mounted rocket at one of the Bioroids to which he was aiming.
There you go.
I don't think so. Fire!
Panel 3, the Bioroid shields itself with its arms as Agrippa's rocket strikes home.
Boom. There we go.
Boom. Page 10, of which there are 4 panels. Panel 1, Agrippa and his squad open fire on the Bioroids,
Which is capitalized again.
who return fire with their shoulder-mounted chain guns. Fire!
Fire!
Panel 2, the 2 Bioroids and the entire front gate of the complex shatter to pieces as the explosions and heavy rounds rip right through them. Boom! Crash. Panel 3, Agrippa stands before the main door to the V complex, his squad trailing behind him.
All right, squad. That's how we came to do things. Better Mike Murphy. Take a plasma torch to that front door. Let's see if we can get in without generating a pressure wave.
That's as far as I got. And Lords of Iron issue 2. Anyway. Erwin, what did you think?
I think I was. Oh, okay. Well, I like the Trinity. I'm really interested in this multiple personality entity, and I'm really curious about what is happening to who's the guy who went in to the
Rohan.
Yeah, Rohan. Yeah, I'm really curious what is happening to him because he's being whatever transmogrified or whatever it is, and I'm really curious about what it means for him to not become human anymore. Like, what is that? Because I mean, we're pretty close to that here on Earth as it is. People are being transforming themselves into other things, and so I'm really curious what kind of commentary you might have on that. So yeah, I'm interested.
I thought. Oh,
Danny, go ahead.
John.
Yeah, I thought it was some of the changes that you made were better. I thought the interaction at the consulate kind of flowed a little bit better. So yeah, I thought I thought those changes were good.
Yeah, I thought the overall plot sort of kept on one thread a lot better in this draft. I also really loved Agrippa's argument with the answering machine. That really was absolutely a good use of half a page. It was funny. It was interesting. The answering machine gave a serious threat. And like had to make him stand down, even though it was only temporary because he's there to go break shit. But overall, that was actually pretty cool. And I think you used all of the personalities of Guinevere in this whole thing, or of Trinity in this whole thing.
I didn't use the demon one. I haven't used that one.
Right. Well, I mean, you don't have very much in the beginning, but it certainly doesn't have the same, I guess, style of speaking as Guinevere later on with the yalls and stuff.
Yeah.
So, like, in terms of voices, it was like, that was okay. And that was pretty good. Which means, like, you've reintroduced that whole character for the most part by this point as well. So, yeah, you sort of establish a new situation and start off a story with it.
Diane, do you have anything you want to say?
No, everybody said everything.
All right, constructives. Who wants to go? All right.
Yeah, it's fine.
Go ahead.
I think Agrippo is supposed to be one of the main characters. Am I wrong here, or?
I'm trying for somewhat of an ensemble thing because when we're dealing with different locations in the solar system, it's hard for one person to be everywhere. So I got to go with different people.
Well, I think I need more flavor from this character. Like, I think I need to get a sense, just a better sense of this person's, I don't know, his shtick or his goal or his story or whatever. Yeah, if he's going to occupy for the most part the 11 pages of the first part of this issue. Yeah, I think I need more. I need to be more interested in this person. Yeah, I think these first 10 or 11 pages would benefit from a sort of a flash into what's going on with Rohan, because they're all doing.
That's part of the point, is that nobody's supposed to know, including the reader.
Yeah, I worry if I do that, like, I'll take away from the dramatic reveal.
Well, you're only saying that because it'll probably take away from the dramatic reveal.
Right.
Well, maybe you could do it without totally revealing what's going on with him.
Stick him in the shadows like that.
He's
Irwin
almost
hates mysteries, though.
It's almost he's a MacGuffin. Who he is and what's going on with him, really, I don't think is even entirely the point. He's basically a MacGuffin at this point.
Yes.
Am I wrong, Preston? Are you basically making him a MacGuffin?
He's going to become kind of our villain eventually, but right now it's he's the MacGuffin for these pages, sure.
Yeah. I mean, he kind of comes off that way. Like, I think it almost doesn't matter to an entire degree, because it's the political conflict that you're building is what's important here. And as long as the characters are interesting, which they certainly seem to be, I don't really see how this, like, it works, in my opinion.
Well, if it is the political conflict that's important, I think I'd like to get a little bit more sophistication in that conflict. Like there's protesters chanting stuff, but
Yeah.
I would like to get into more detailed rhetorical conflict regarding like why do people care about him not being human anymore? And I think that's going to be relevant to today's like cultures as well. Like these people are starting to opt out of typical humanity, and so what's the use of humanity, and what's the use of being human?
I can see that. I can concede that point. Yeah, I think that would benefit the narrative if that makes more.
So is it like genetic splicing? Is it more getting into more cybernetics?
Well, I think the point is in this story is at the current time is we don't know yet.
Oh, okay.
Right. Yeah.
But I think Irwin makes an interesting point that we as the audience, the readers, don't quite understand the stakes that these characters, like the Admiral, like what is he trying to defend? What is it he's trying to do? Is he there just because he's following orders? Does he have a personal interest in, the stake of humanity and all of that fun jazz? Like,
does he believe in human genetic purity? Yeah, I mean that I think that's
right. Like, what's his personal politics, and how is that shaping his attitude? I think is a valid point.
Okay.
I think the middle of this 10 pages drags a bit with the president.
Well, the president's not there anymore. Now it's Agrippa and Oliver Hood
or whatever.
Yeah.
I also do concede that they kind of just show up after all of the hullabaloo is gone, like the army does.
Yes.
Which could be rendered more dramatic. And like, I'm imagining a version of this where, like, let's say it's like the 1 year anniversary of Rohan's disappearance. The protesters come back because there's a big candlelit vigil or something like that for him, right? It's a thing again. It's newsworthy again. It's a whole year. The army shows up, and dude has General Hood on the phone, like, being like, go, storm the gates. And he's like, no, I want to see what's going on. Oh, no, just storm the gates. Okay, then you've got, like, baby protesters. Like, what's the army doing here? Yeah, army, get him. And then we actually see people involved in this whole conflict, and how they're reacting to the army showing up. I think that would be very interesting. It would add a lot of sort of dynamism to that scene with the answering machine, which is still great, and then like gives another moment for like, okay, well, the answering machine says we might start a war, and then Guinevere is confused and like, well, who's going to actually attack? Is it going to be the general on his own? Is it going to be his bosses just telling him to? Does he make a decision? Having the extra sort of devil on his shoulder there, either from the crowd or whatever, really, really helps. So instead of stopping the story with Rohan to have this conversation about what's been going on the whole time, like you've got a news reporter, you've got two groups, like I think leveraging that to add more tension to the prelude to the attack might really benefit the pacing overall.
All right, fair enough. Well, I think those are all the notes and all the scripts for today. Okay.
Alrighty.
Well, this is a pretty good time.
Yeah.
I might not be able to do next week.
All right.
On account of actually possibly having social plans.
Neat. Well, when will you know?
Probably by the weekend. I'll let you know.
All right, cool. I hope your video thing went well.
It did. Verticals, like those stories are super weird, very soap opera-y. It's like one feature length soap opera cut into like 50 episodes to be drip fed to viewers.
Yeah.
So like every page or so, we had to have a big dramatic moment. It was a ton of fun to shoot it. The crew was great. And it's a really interesting format. Certainly, it's a slightly trashy format. I've heard horror stories about some of the scripts I didn't work on that my director did work on or was offered, mostly involving werewolves. But yeah, like very dramatic, like romance drama stuff. It was a very interesting change of pace, especially after working on a very tense Western for like a month. So yeah, I had a good time.
Awesome. Cool. Well, next week. Oh, and we have I'm going to rewrite the zombie script to give you something terrifying that you guys have never seen before. I guarantee it. So, Erwin, you should come back and see some of that.
Wait, next week can we have a Christmas present and have Draco actually show up?
That would be
Yeah,
nice.
dude. Show up.
Yeah.
We're here anyways. Come on, dude.
Exactly. All right. Well, till then, see everyone next week.
Good night,